Well, happy Lenten lunch, everyone. My name is Matthew Mehaffey. I'm the lead pastor at Discovery Christian Church in Mars, PA. I've been here for about 7 years. And hey, it's an honor to be a part of a team of leaders, all across the city of Pittsburgh who are helping bring heaven to earth. So, my scripture today that we're supposed to be looking at is Mark chapter 5. And as I've been looking at this text, it strikes me how busy the life of Jesus was. Everyone wanted a piece of Jesus. And that can be very relatable to a lot of us right now as we know Easter is coming. Good Friday is coming, and there is a lot to prepare for. Our teams are looking at us, wanting to know what the direction is and how we're going to be prepared for this Super Bowl of Sundays, as we sometimes call it. And meanwhile, Sunday's always coming. We always have something to be prepared for. There's always an email. There's always someone who needs our help in some way. The work is never done. And Jesus, he has, leading up to this moment, he is a day of just constant needs being met. He's at the beach, and there's a huge crowd of people who want healing, who want teaching, and that's exactly what Jesus does. And he looks at his disciples and says, hey, let's get into the boat and let's go to the other side because I need a break. I need some distance. And so they take the boat and kind of take a little bit of an evening to nighttime cruise across the lake. But before they can even get to the other side, Jesus tries to catch a nap, but a huge storm comes up. And the disciples are freaking out and wake Jesus up. And he says, peace, be still. Even the wind and the waves obey him. And then as he gets to the other side and they get to the shore, that's where Mark 5 begins. And it says this: They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an evil spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. So Jesus gets out of the boat. He's extremely exhausted, and there's not a spa waiting for him. No one to put cucumbers over his eyes or a drink with an umbrella in his hand. Nope. He gets a naked, homeless, demonized guy. It's going to be one of those days for Jesus. And this man is a legend, is infamous in his region. The people don't know what to do with this person who is uncontrollable. So they just stick him in a place where no one has to deal with him. They chain him, they stick him in a place where there's nothing but death and bones. And I kind of always imagine this guy as like the place where the neighborhood kids on their bikes would go by and try to dare each other who could get closest to the area where that crazy guy is, right? Kind of the Stranger Things kind of an episode. And then in verse 6 says, when he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" And even the demons within this man, they know exactly who they're dealing with. They have a very high Christology, right? They understand who Jesus is, who exactly he is, and they hate him for it. And they beg him, "Swear to God that you won't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you evil spirit." And Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the on the nearby hillside, and the demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." And Jesus gave them permission. He is completely in charge of the situation. And the evil spirits came out and went into the pigs. And the herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. This is a big hit on the local economy. Right now we're talking about the price of eggs. In this area, the price of pork is about to go up, and that's going to bother a lot of people in this region. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside, and the people went out to see what had happened. And when they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. I love this scene. They come trying to figure out what just happened. Everybody's hearing the rumor about the pig shortage all of a sudden, and that something happened to that weird person who kind of lives on the edge of town, and they show up and they don't find the scraggly, demonized, naked guy. They see the same guy, clean shaven, in a white button-up and pleated khakis, taking notes at Jesus' latest lecture, and they don't know what to do with this. And I think this is a great reminder for all of us, especially those of us in leadership positions. It's very easy for us to write off a lot of people, or to not expect God to do a miracle and change someone's life, because we know their story. We've seen the hopeless time and time again, just nothing's going to change in their life. But Jesus changes everything. A real encounter with Christ can do anything, because he's done it in me and he's done it in us. It's a great reminder as we go into our Easter season, and that because the tomb is empty, and our faith is full. And that should ripple out. That faith should ripple out on the potential disciples that Jesus wants to make in all of our churches during this season. Those who had seen what had happened told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. And then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. I read one commentary that talked about the people were more concerned about the pigs than even this man who had been stuck out in the tombs. I think that can also look very similar to our culture in 2025, where pets are more important than people to a lot of times. And as Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him, and Jesus did not let him, but said, Go home to your family and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. We have an incredible city. We have an incredible mission. And I want all of us to make sure, as we are moving towards Easter and we are busy and busy and busy, to allow ourselves to be interrupted by those people in our lives who need that encounter with Christ. And we want to make it hard for people in our city to go to hell.